What's up? This is Postdoc Chronicles week number 33. And by the way, if you've noticed, I have a short hair now because back in during my Christmas vacation in the Philippines, my mother actually I asked my mother to trim my hair a little bit, so my hair was already long and so on. So my mother, I asked her to trim a little bit, but then she said I told her like I want it to be a little bit over the shoulder, but then she was trimming it every now and then because it's not straight. Every time she trims it, it became smaller and smaller, and eventually it became this long. It's still fine, but yeah, I would have preferred it to be a little bit over the shoulder so that when I do that, all the hair doesn't go down. But anyway, it's still good. I still look like metal. But yeah, anyway, Postdoc Chronicles week number 33. So again, this video has been late because I was in Port Elizabeth. I processed my accommodation and tickets going there. So basically, right after this one, Postdoc Chronicles week number 34 will follow right after. Okay, but yeah, the week before that, Dihiggs, John and I and his collaborators were considering this model known as the Dihiggs, where it communicates with a hidden sector, so there can be particles beyond the standard model that we don't know anything about. And if it does coupled if the Higgses does couple to this hidden sector, then we would see this very specific final state configuration. So we were supposed to look at a specific final configuration, which involves jets comprising of the bottom quarks and plus some missing energy. But then, yeah, eventually an email, one of our collaborators emailed us on like January 24th. He said, hey guys, actually in arXiv, and basically arXiv is this, is a repository of papers that physicists in our fields usually work on. There is like the what do you call this, the status of the paper or the outline before you submit it to a journal. Okay, like a peer reviewed paper. But yeah, most of the time it's already in the form where you're already confident enough that the your fellow physicists can already critique it, or they can already glean something from it. So basically, January 24th, a group of researchers from Germany basically published a paper in arXiv, basically looking at the same final state that we have. Okay, and then the configuration, the decay chain looks very similar, and in that particular paper, they're also looking at a particular 4B plus missing energy signature. Okay, so right now what happens is we thought that yeah, we're gonna change everything, but then Jong said no, we still have to look at the specific mass configurations they're looking at. And in fact, in our Dihiggs model, aside from the 4B plus MET final state that we are looking, Jong still has some other final states that we are gonna look at. Okay, some sort of asymmetric decay with the Higgses, with one of the scalar particles that are hidden. Okay, that is not the decay will not be symmetric, so there will be a state that is different from that arXiv paper, and then we're going to look at the consequences of that particular decay model. Okay, so yeah, so basically I'm waiting for Jong's so he told me to look at that paper, read that paper, and then since again I'm not yet that well versed in phenomenology, so Jong will be like writing some very important questions, very important parameters that he wants to be extracted out of that paper, because he doesn't have any time, to read that paper, because he's also doing this sort of other projects. He also has these other projects, so my task will be to read that paper and then take note on the parameters that they've been using, the specific mass values that they have, the specific configuration that they have, and so on, and what are the specific distributions that they're looking at. Okay, so right now I'm still looking at the particular final state configurations that were not considered in that arXiv paper. But the problem is that, so it begins with a so-called UFO file. Basically, UFO file, it's a misnomer, because I thought it was just a single file, but then basically UFO, I think they mean universal fine rules or Feynman output. And basically what they are is they're a group of, it's a basically a directory, so a group of different Python files containing different information that describes a specific model. Okay, and yeah, so I could learn how to, maybe in the future, how to generate these UFO files, but Jong said don't do that yet. He wanted me to concentrate on extracting the physics out of the model itself. So Jong just gave me the UFO files, but then the thing is, in order for me to continue these UFO files, you feed them in this uh, Monte Carlo generator known as MadGraph. Okay, but then initially the first thing that I can study in this MadGraph, when once you feed the UFO file, are those exact configurations that were published in the arXiv paper. Okay, and so when we try to attempt to do the other configurations that were different from that arXiv paper, the UFO file could not accommodate it. And the reason is that the final configuration that Jong wants to look at, they have now some loop-induced terms, okay? Whereas in MadGraph, at least in Jong's UFO file, he only has three levels, okay? So he only considers the three-level diagram. So two things we can do. So one is I regenerate all this UFO files myself, which now will include or will now accommodate the loop induced terms. But then again, Jong doesn't want me to do that. He doesn't want me to study how to do fine rules and stuff in Mathematica. And so another thing that we can do is, instead of using MadGraph, I just generate the initial events from MadGraph, okay, the proton, and then the parton and stuff, and then I hadronize it in a different external hadronizer, or external tool, which in this case will be Pythia. And then manually in Pythia, I will be the one that will be tweaking the decay chain, the spectrum file, so as to accommodate this new loop induced diagrams. And it would be easier that way, because I can do it like by hand. I won't be like going back to UFO or going back to Spheno and then reproducing this new UFO files, or the spectrum files. So I did that. I'm doing it by hand right now. So I'm doing this distributions right now. I'm still stuck because I'm looking at one radius of jets equivalent to one, but then Jong said don't look at those very fat jets, because we have a very specific we have a very specific mass configuration whereby we should only look at smaller jets like zero point 0.4 radius instead of one. And but then the thing is, I wanted to create the distribution like the distributions that, because in MadGraph you can analyze the distribution right away after it hadronizes everything. If you incorporate Pythia in MadGraph, after it hadronizes, you can actually extract distributions right away using this thing called MAD analysis. Okay, but since I did it externally, so either I do MAD analysis on the HEP-NC, which I haven't done before, because MAD analysis that I use is usually part of the MadGraph framework, so I can do that, or write my own Rivet code and then analyze it that way. So I did the latter, but the thing is, yeah, there's something weird with the distribution when I added manually the four leading jets of the 0.4. They don't seem to reconstruct the mass distribution that I want to see. But then when you look at the fat ones, the radius where Jong said not to look at, they are the ones that make sense. So yeah, I'm still looking at that. Yeah, but basically that's what I did 2 weeks before, okay, right after my first week here of 2019. And again, the Postdoc Chronicles, after this one, the Postdoc Chronicles week number 34 will be about the conference that, or the workshop that I joined in Port Elizabeth. But anyway, thanks for watching. This is Postdoc Chronicles week number 33. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.